Andrew Boulding and his team at Kingsclear are preparing for an anticipated flat racing season. I visited Parkhouse Stables to see firsthand what a day looked like for the multiple classic winning trainer and his team.
The average week, as it were, would be Monday to Saturday. We exercise the horses. Sunday, the horses have a day off. We go down to skeleton staff on a Sunday. So as a result, Mondays are sort of a quiet reintroduction into exercise. So they usually only have one canter on a Monday, and then we gradually build up. Our work days are Wednesdays and Saturdays. So Tuesday they'd do 2 routine canters, and then Wednesday we do a more structured work list where we pair the horses up, put them into groups of 2s or 3s, and during the season do more intensive work, which gives us an idea of where they're at in their development in terms of their training. And on the back of that, depending on their race schedule, would depend on when they work and how intensive the work is.
Though it is less busy in the winter, the staff here at Kingsclear remain occupied all year round.
It's a very nice yard to work for. The management's brilliant. The people that work here, they're also really nice people. Staff, everything. They're just really, really good.
So each day is there is an air of similarity about it, because obviously the horses go out and exercise every day and they need feeding every day and making sure they're all healthy and happy. But then there are bits that change every day, whether we have horses on the treadmill or horses in the pool when it warms up a bit. So yeah, it's just a matter of making sure all the horses in my barns are out in a timely manner down to the school for Andrew and Paul, and making sure when they come back in they're all good, no problems, and getting through the morning really.
I love my job. People think I'm mad, but I come in at 5 and do the ground staff board. Then I go home and have a cup of tea. Then I come back out at probably just after 6, and I muck my own horses out because I'm in charge of the colour room, so I deal with all the stuff what goes racing. At the moment we're on our quietish time. We do have runners obviously through the winter, but not as many as in the summer when I live in that room then.
When you're working in a yard this size, you're always going to be busy. And it is part of what I do. Is you just got to accept that you're going to be away a lot. You're not going to be home very much. You're going to do 5-6 days a week on the road, out and about, which at times can be tough for sure. But it's part of the deal. It's part of the game. We're busy during the summer. You just got to kick on and. Sure, it's hard work, but it is also incredibly rewarding. We go racing, you want to let him know that everything's all right with his horses. I'll debrief with jockeys as well, let them know what they think. If there's any instructions that he wants passed on from him to the jockey, I'll do that. Likewise, I'll deal with owners on the day, make sure that they're happy, make sure they know what's going on, what the plans are for the day. I just do a little bit of everything on the day just to make sure everything runs smoothly.
Kamiko, the winner of the 2000 Guineas in 2020, was a horse admired by all at the stable. Andrew Boulding spoke about his admiration for the horse, who is now retired to stud.
Kamiko was a high-class 2-year-old. He won the Futurity it was due to be at Doncaster, but it got rained off and rescheduled to Newcastle on the Tapeta there, and he was hugely impressive. That was the end of his 2-year-old career, so we always had it in mind that we'd have him as a potential Guineas horse. It was during COVID, so actually there were no trials prior to the Guineas. It was I think 5 days into racing restarting, and they hosted the Guineas a month late. It was the 1st of June, and he was hugely impressive, won a high class Guineas, and he went on. He was a little bit again affected by COVID in a sort of adverse way, because the race schedule had been changed, totally changed, and he couldn't. Ascot was very close to the back of the Guineas, so we didn't feel it was right to run him again so quick. So as a result, he ended up running in the Derby, which he was favourite for, but it was a mile and a half. It was a big step up in trip, and he didn't quite come through that day. But he ended his career on a high note, winning the Joel Stakes with a penalty against a very high-class field. He's gone to stud and has been so far a success in terms that his foals look very nice and his fertility's good, and the next sort of 3 or 4 seasons watching them race will be, very interesting.
Another prize horse of Boulding's was alcohol-free. The 5-time major winner was recently sold for a record price at auction and will now race in Australia.
Alcohol Free was a great horse to train. I mean, she won 4 Group 1 races, which is fairly, hard to do with any horse. But she won 2 of the biggest Group 1s of the British summer, with the Sussex Stakes and the July Cup. They're a year apart, but they're 2 totally different distances, 6 furlongs and a mile, which showed her versatility and her class as well. And against colts, very tough for fillies to do that. So she was a special race mare, and she went to the sales and became the second highest priced horse sold at an auction. She made 5.4 million in December and has been bought to race on in Australia. I think she's just landed in Australia, so it'd be interesting to follow her career on from there.
It was evident that at Kingsclear there was a sense of excitement about one of the horses as the 2023 season approaches. 3-year-old and Guineas hope, Chaldine, is ready for the challenge.
The obvious one is Chaldine, who was one of the top 2-year-olds of last year, who straight after he won the Dewhurst got a Guineas quote, and that's always been the objective with him. So it's the first Saturday in May. We'll be looking forward to him in the Guineas.
We've got a group of really nice horses this year, particularly our 3-year-olds are really strong this year. Chaldine, obviously, he'll be going for the Guineas. I'd expect he'd go straight there, but who knows? We've got a lovely bunch of proper top flight horses as well. So we've got King's Lynn here. He's a top level Group 1 sprinter. You'll be seeing him at Royal Ascot. You'll be seeing him at Haydocks, the sprints. He's a top level horse.
It's hard not to be excited by Chaldine with him running in the Guineas in May. So obviously after his first run last year, he went unbeaten in the next 3. So yes, looking forward to him, and hopefully he can bring back the first classic of the season.